Hey guys, it's Johnny from JTK Gaming, and today I have got Abba here, and we're going to do a quick interview with him and get his thoughts on the whole cheating thing. So, why don't you introduce yourself, Abba?
Yeah, hey, well, my name's Abah Kadabrah, and my ad name's Crazy Talk. But yeah, I've been with the game since beta, and I am the GM of a PvP guild in Vivek called Knights of Ni, which is a Daggerfall PvP guild, and a lot of experienced players in it. Um,
Yeah,
if you were
it's fair to say that you're well known, and your guild's also well known within the game. Um, so basically, I want to start with what's your overall thoughts and feelings about cheating in the game? Do you think it's okay? Do you think it's in a good spot? Do you think it's bad? Like, just what's your overall feelings on cheating at the moment in ESO?
well, I think I mean, there's a lot. I think everybody's got a lot of thoughts on it. If we're looking at, cheating takes place in every game, and I think it's difficult when you're talking about online MMOs because, like if it's a Monopoly game, like if it's a board game, you're gonna have somebody who's cheating at the table, stealing money from the banker, and it's like, you don't write Monopoly and say, well, you guys made a bunk game. My friend keeps fucking ripping money out of the bank and cheating or whatever, or saying he rolled deuces when he didn't, or whatever it is. That doesn't happen. But in online MMOs, that happens. And unfortunately, the big difference here is that in a board game like Monopoly, it's like if you catch your friend cheating, you have the power to shut it down right then and there. Like just a quick conversation at the table, and it's like, hey, you're cheating, dude. Like, no, that's not cool. You're gonna be we're taking your money away. You can do whatever you like. Um, but in an MMO, the power really isn't with the community, the people that are playing it. The powers not with the players, the powers with the developer. And so as a consequence, people can cheat and then actually ruin the nights of the days or nights of the players, of the community, as
Do,
long as they're doing it.
yeah, do you think that possibly the power could be within the community? It's just we don't stand up, and we kind of just brush it off a lot, and I notice a lot of people don't even realize that they're kind of aware that there's cheating in the game, but they don't really think about it in any form and way. And I'll give a good example of where I feel like the power is in the community is when I can't remember what their character names were, but we're flying around shooting meteors at everyone. You know, that it was, we're all angry at them, but they had a point to prove, and they proved that point, and Zos
Mm-hmm.
had to do something about it, and they did do something about it. There was a massive wave of bans after that. So um, what you're saying is true, exactly right, and but at the other hand, it doesn't need to be that way, if that makes sense.
I get the distinct feeling that, like, I can understand why it would be difficult for um why or how like implementing any sort of mechanic that would involve the community in monitoring or policing itself, why it would be so difficult. I can understand how that would be difficult. I think most players can understand that too. um but at the same time, I remember just like a couple weeks ago I was running around and I think in Rivenspire, and I'm trying to remember exactly what I was doing there. I think I was collecting soul gems, or not soul gems, but sky shards. I was
Yep.
leveling a tune, collecting sky shards. And I remember coming across this one guy running around. It was this mob, like here I was, and I think I just finished a random dolmen. And suddenly this big mob of like 8 tunes goes flying past me, and I thought, what the heck is a Zerg doing on at this time? Because it was early in the AM, my
Yeah.
time. And And I noted that they were just doing this loop and killing harpies and farming, and I was just like, holy crap. And I had to sit there, and I spent 25 minutes of my time reporting every single tune that I could see, because I didn't know which one of them was a bot and who wasn't.
Yeah. For future reference, a really easy thing to do there is just take a screenshot, get in a good position where you can take a screenshot and actually see all their at
Yeah,
names.
I didn't. I should have probably have done that, but at
Yeah,
the same time,
that's just for future, like to make it
yeah.
easier for you. And like I just feel like these things are always going to exist to a point, but at the moment, I feel like the botters and the cheaters are just taking the piss at the moment. Like there was always botting, and I used to see some bots, but they were one or two people. They're running around in groups like 8 and 10 now. They're not even trying to hide the fact that they're botting anymore. Um, and the fact that they're not hiding it just shows that ZOS is being really lenient at the moment and not banning them, because if they were banning them, they wouldn't be doing it so blatantly obvious. Um, But let's just get back to the question. We got a bit sidetracked there. So overall, do you think it is in a good state at the moment with the cheating and the botting, or do you think it's got worse over the last previous little while?
I've been trying to speak from my own experiences. I don't think the majority of players in the community cheat. So far as the botting goes, I think it's probably a little out of control at this moment because it's really accessible for a lot of people to be able to do. Um, as I learned,
Yeah.
um, it's just not right. Nobody wants to be rolling with cheaters, associate with cheaters. We don't often know who these people are. Sometimes we find out, and the community, comes down on them pretty hard about it. In PvP, recently some of the things that I don't like that have been, I wouldn't say cheats, but exploits is like, one particular player switched factions, came over and set up a ton of DC siege,
Yeah.
and then just like capped a siege limit. I've seen it done before where at some other point I was told that somebody came over and set up camps all over the map, and just like basically made it so that DC couldn't get camps up. A couple nights ago, we had somebody, I'm guessing probably from another faction, though I don't know for sure, but they basically got the scroll, picked up the scroll, and then started running it back to the scroll gate where it came.
Yeah.
And, it's just like, it's obvious that it's probably somebody who logged onto an alt, picked up the scroll, and was trucking it home.
And
It's just like things like that. Like, if there was a way for us to be able to, I guess you could say, like, put the fire out while it's small before it becomes big, because I'll tell you, it interrupted the nights of every single, that particular gaming night was impacted significantly by one player's actions
yeah.
that were just so, unscrupulous, it just caused a lot of salt. It's just trolling.
And like my biggest problem is after like looking in and digging into this kind of stuff and finding out that cheat engine is working again and how easy cheat engine is to use. The thing I hate the most, and I kind of said this in my cheating video, is you just don't know who's cheating, and it gives you that feeling that it's hard to explain, but it doesn't feel good. Like, I got killed in the sewers. I'm pretty sure he's cheating, but there's a chance that he was just a really good player and he knew his build and stuff. So that's the biggest thing I don't like at the moment, is you just don't know who's actually cheating. And that's the thing
I
with sorry mate, I'll just
Yeah,
finish.
yeah, no, there's and I think that that's not bad. I mean, you're like, I understand, having the anonymity protected of the player. I mean, let's face it, like, not everyone chooses to make their face in the game public. This is, a game like this is a retreat for a lot of people out of real life, not something that they don't necessarily bridge their real life to the game. And I get that. I think I do have concerns around people that are able, and it's always going to be ongoing, buying another account after being banned on a former one. I mean, like, there are things that the community can. I don't know if it's things that the community can do on its own. I mean, this video that you're putting together is probably one of those things that you're doing on your own. But I mean, without the support of the developer behind it, at least some context, there's no empowerment there.
Well, I think the empowerment's going to come from the community, and that is up to the community if they want to have that power, because at the moment ZOS doesn't care because it's not a big issue for them. No one, it's, you know, it's
Well,
a small.
I think it is a big issue. I mean, I really do. I think it is a big issue. I think that it's ongoing.
Like, yeah, I don't think
I
ZOS is just sitting on their hands not doing anything. I
no.
definitely think ZOS is doing stuff. I just don't think ZOS is doing what they potentially could be doing if people were, well aware of their situation and how it actually is, because most people don't know how bad it actually is at the moment.
A lot of people, I think, there are a lot of people that don't want to know how bad it is at the moment.
Yeah,
There are a lot of people that
exactly.
don't want to talk about it. The conversation's old, it's tired, nobody enjoys thinking about it. We just want to come on, play the game. We're in it to play a
User
game.
entered your channel.
We
Yeah.
don't want to have to
Hey man, what's
police
going
it,
on?
so to speak. But the thing is, I think that there's a willingness there in the community to do something more.
And you're definitely right. Like, I have had a fair bit of negative stuff come back to me about this, and it's sad to see that. But on the other hand, I've had a lot of positive stuff, a lot of people that have, got behind it and basically saying they'll do whatever they can to, get this out there. So there is a lot of people out there that feel strongly about this. And so yeah, anyway, we got sidetracked again.
Yeah, I mean, whether it was the ability to implement almost immediate suspensions. The game is a 24-hour game. People play from all over the world. I don't know, whether or not when the developer is able to work on some of these cases. But the thing is like, because it is running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with very little downtime, it's one of those things where there needs to be processes or systems in place that are effective in that same schedule, and or at least it doesn't need to be, but should be. Being able to have somebody out there with moderation permissions or something to be able to cause an hour suspension here to a player or something like that without much, worry while it can be investigated or whatever the case is, or if you see something that's just not against it, if there was some sort of outline as to what's okay and what's not okay, for those people to abide by, and
So,
that might be an idea that could work. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a
and
developer, and I know all these things come with a cost.
and
But it would
exactly
help.
like that basically leads into the next question, and how ideas on how to fix this and stuff. And as you were talking, we discussed this before the interview about moderators and people, not just Joe Blow in the game, but people that have got a reputation, I guess. And obviously you have to have them sign contracts and stuff like that, and if they abuse their privileges, then they get perma-banned, or if it's a minor thing, they just lose their moderation privileges. But people would be willing to do this, or at the very least, you don't need to pay them. You could just give them some crowns or something like that, But a lot of people would be just happy to do it for free.
For the game's integrity. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think that's the case with a lot of us. I think that a lot of people would be willing. I mean, I put in the extra hours as a guild GM. I do. Like, it's a part-time job.
Exactly, and I can understand that completely. The thing is, like, if I was to actually become a moderator,
So what
I
are we
wouldn't
doing?
mind spending an hour a day doing it, which probably isn't enough. That's where you need to get a decent amount of moderators, so the load is shared around the moderators. So
Yeah,
it doesn't.
and time periods, and I mean, let's
Yeah,
face it, like we don't, even if it came with a scheduled moderation slot or whatever, I mean, if it did come down to that, and that was the only way to really do it, then could the players or the moderators themselves be subsidized in some sort of way that would make it worth it? Well, it'd be worth it, hopefully, in terms of the game's integrity.
and also as I said, you could give them crowns. That's not costing you anything. It's literally not costing you a cent to give them crowns.
User entered your channel.
Oh yeah, regardless if it was crowns, if it was done at I'll be honest with you. At this point right now, I think the majority of people would be willing to do it just for the sake of trying to bring more integrity to the game. There are players out there, and there are players out there that all they care about more than anything else. Like I can turn I can turn aside and be like, hey, that dude's a cheat, or he's cheating, or he's doing something that's not orthodox that I'm not cool with. But I can kind of turn to, like I won't allow my night to get ruined because one player's basically exploiting.
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking, okay, you know what, screw that guy, I'm off to the next thing. But not everybody's like that. There's some people that get hooked by it, and that's the only thing that they can talk about or whatever for the next number of hours. They just can't believe it,
I think also, like, just thinking about it now, another big issue with moderators would be
just give them an ESO plus membership for free.
Oh, well, that's a good idea too, but I think they would have to have some one-on-one time with the developers and get a better understanding of where that line is as far as cheaters. So they've got a better understanding of who's actually cheating, if that makes sense, and not someone that's just very good at the game.
Yeah, something along those lines.
But it's something that could it'd take a little bit of time and a little bit of money for us to set it up, but long term it's not going to cost them fuck all. And to be honest, I think that would be one of the best ways to kind of tackle this. As far as like a moderator could just you could have a moderator go to these botting spots, and then they can just straight away permaban, or not permaban, but ban the bots on the spot.
I never think anybody in the community should be given enough power to do any sort of anything beyond a suspension.
Well, I think it should be like all of them should be like a day or 3 days under review kind of thing.
It would just be automatic based on whatever it is that the person's caught doing. A simple drop-down box given to whoever the moderator was, where they could just well,
I think it should go straight to review, because then
but I think that if the game, I don't think that the moderator should be the one that would basically be the one, I think, because I understand how precedent works. I don't think that moderators should be given the authority to do anything beyond a suspension. Then it would just be a simple drop-down box or something of some sort where they would just fill in the field, and then the suspension would be automatic based on what the player was doing, and it would just be based on the history of the game. There's enough data right now to be able to look at the history of the game and what people have done that has gotten them banned or suspended or whatever. There's enough information there. I understand why ZOS doesn't want to do that. There's a privacy concern, because you give this power to a moderator, and then the moderator goes back to his buddies and starts saying, yeah, I had to ban this guy that last night, or suspend so-and-so that night. So there'd have to be some sort of stipulation around not being able to discuss it in place in the contractual agreement, where the moderator could get banned, period, himself.
Yeah. I think there should be strong rules against moderators playing up. I think
and again, hearsay, this is so hypothetical,
exactly, and as far as it is a fucking pipe dream, it could so easily happen and be an actual thing. But so the next question I have, we've kind of discussed it a little bit.
Dude, it was shit at the moment anyway.
What do you think about actual bans? About some of these big name players that have actually got bans and been allowed back in the game when they were quite clearly doing some major cheating and major exploiting. How do
Yeah,
you feel
I
about
didn't
that?
see
Do you
your
feel like they should be
icons.
given a chance and then second
There
time
you
they're
are.
gone, or
I
should they
see
be
you.
a
I see you.
3-time chance, or should it depend on what they are actually doing?
I think it always depends on what it is that they're doing. I do. There are different. Let's face it. There's a difference between going and running cheat engine, and then on the other side, just logging on to the other faction and or finding some sort of like exploit in world, like the stairs under Ailes. How you can just to
Yeah.
the I think it's to the north side of Ailes. You can go underneath the stairs, and then like hide there and pull people under and LOS them, and stuff like that. And that's still been like that for a while now. It hasn't been fixed, but the thing is that there's a big difference in my eyes. There's a huge difference between something that is working as intended. The stairs were not working as intended, are currently not working as intended, obviously.
Well,
And going and getting cheat engine. There's a huge difference.
I like 100% agree. Like, someone jumping on another faction, that's just a shitty thing. Like, that's just them doing a shitty thing. It's not actually
exactly.
cheating. Like,
No.
they're not
Should be on my stamps.
doing
Mark.
anything technically against terms of policy. They're just
No.
being dicks.
Yeah.
But I feel like, so, these big name players, I feel like they were given a chance, and I think that's the only chance people should be given when they're caught using cheat engine. I think they should be given the one chance, give them like a fucking week band or something, and give them that one chance. If they do it again, then their account's gone as far as I'm concerned. To do it once is stupid. Do it twice is just, that's...
I don't know. Like, I mean, I want to, for myself, I mean, I'm of the opinion that I think that there are competent and better people than I am that are
Whoa, all those
capable of
clan
deciding how it
fears,
could
that's
work.
how-
But
so
I
this
think
is
that
a
it's
bodder?
important
Like,
to
what's
be able
going
to
on
throw
here?
some ideas up. Like I said, the
Oh my
game has
God.
a history now where there's a lot of
They're
data that's been
fucking
collected,
straight up bots.
and
That's
we
the
know what
perfect
people have done,
stack.
and we know what people will continue to do,
Mm.
and that there are ways of monitoring
Fuck, so
that
there's a player
that,
doing that, or
you know,
maybe a total.
can be implemented. I don't enjoy hearing people say that
Might be a
ZOS
bot
is
because
lazy about these things
someone
and that it's
rage
easy
quit
to
with
do
us
that.
doing this.
These things do come at
Yeah.
a significant cost. I understand that.
Yeah.
I don't think that
This
it's
is
fair
nuts.
to peg it all on ZOS. They put together a great game. I've been here playing it 5 to 7 days a week for years.
Yeah, and, like...
You know.
I
So,
don't
it's a good
like
game.
seeing people, dump on ZOS either, but to be honest, in this case, in this
There's just ways that
scenario,
they can step up the game, I think, and that's really what I'd like
Okay,
to see.
seriously, I'm getting my
yeah,
stamps.
in this
Mark.
case and scenario, I think ZOS has kind of let it go a little bit too far, and now they're,
I don't think that I would like to think that it's not a matter of letting it go so much as not knowing what can be done.
well, I think it's just a matter of not having the resources, like, they're not,
That's possible.
they don't want to spend the money, basically, is what I'm getting at. It's not in the budget to, extend what they're already doing, paying an extra couple of staff member to do whatever they need to do.
Well, let's face it. I think that there's a lot of pride that they have in the product. I think that the community enjoys it. Obviously, who knows? I mean, I'm not the person who's dictating the finances. They could be selling, these crown store moments where they're putting out new items. Hey, a lot of that money could be going into the development of new content and monitoring,
His bot's not using wraps at all.
ensuring that the content that they've provided has integrity.
Jesus,
Yeah.
I've never seen a
that
stack
could
bot
be
like that.
one of the efforts
I've
that
heard
they've
about
made
it in
through the
BGs,
crowns.
and this
But
confirms that it's
also, I
definitely
think
never seen it.
it's kind of like a revolving circle. You spend the extra effort on, getting rid of these botters, getting rid of these cheaters. Then you don't have as much people like reporting it, so therefore you don't have as much work on that side of
Anyone
that side
report
of things. So it's kind of double-edged sword where
Yeah.
you spend the money up front, but
You
you're
can even,
saving
like,
it on the back
you're
end
making a
because no
video,
one's
you can put
complaining
the video
about.
link.
Well, not many people are reporting things.
Well, again, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, speculating is difficult for me in that sense. Possibly. I mean, it's. I don't know though. I really don't. There's not a lot there right now as so far as it goes. I think that the community's really in the dark on what can be done. We all work with people, or we're in my guild alone. I've got a retired IT guy and other current IT guys and guys that are in uni going into IT, and these guys sit there and they'll talk till they're blue in the face about all the different things ZOS could be doing or that they know can be done, and but I don't think it's quite like they think it is.
Are they all the same?
Like it probably isn't. They do have to understand they're probably right about a lot of things, but they're probably wrong about a lot of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I 100% agree that the community's in the dark. And I also spoke about this in my other video about ZOS not being transparent about anything. They're not letting us know about any of this kind of stuff, which to a degree is fair, but on the other side, there's an extent where you need to be open with the community and, going through those websites and seeing all these things, all these exploits that were things that are obviously being patched now. Well, some of them are being patched, but ZOS never said anything about it. Like, and I get why, but at the same time, they need to be, if they come out and said, okay, look, we're aware that there's botting issue at the moment. We're aware of cheat engine. We're aware of this. We're on it.
Here's the other thing to it too, though, and I understand that it's also by pointing attention to it, then it brings an awareness into the community, and more people will actually do it.
Yeah, I know, but that's
that's part. Hold that, but that's part of the trade-off.
Oh, yeah, so I'm aware of that. Most definitely, but.
So if the catch is that if they actually say, okay, we understand right now that cheat engine, like listen to this. We're aware that cheat engine has just, we're aware that cheat engine has just received a major update, and a lot of people are running it. We're working on this problem and a fix for it to resolve any other issues. Please direct your reports, concerns, or questions through report a player function and da 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 da.
Well, the way
guess
they're
what?
moving doesn't look
I mean, you're gonna have like a chunk of the little shits are out there are gonna be like, well, all right, well, so they understand it. They haven't found a fix to it yet, so I'm gonna quickly go and I'm gonna download this and I'm gonna use it. Whoever I think is using it.
At the same time, you could follow that up with, we're taking a very strong stance on this, and if anyone is caught using cheat engine, they will be banned, or I think that's where ZOS is wrong at the moment. They've got a soft stance. People don't think they're very loose. As I said, the botters at the moment don't care. They're blatantly doing it, and that's because at the moment ZOS looks soft.
I think that a lot of people are getting banned. I do. I believe that a lot of the people in the community are getting banned. I just think that for every account that gets banned, you get another one that starts up.
What's with my yield this time, man?
And I think that it's trying to monitor and police that. It becomes challenging. You have people that can sell accounts. We all know people who have purchased an account.
Yeah,
it was developed. I mean, it's. How do you even know it's the same player?
Like I agree. There's also he's like definitely doing some stuff, and they're definitely banning people. It's just. Yeah, I just feel like more needs, like, at the end of the day, the very least, they need to be on top of coding cheat engine and making sure that doesn't work. The other thing is, and like, I would have to think that they do this, because if they don't do this, it would blow me away, is actually going to those forums and, signing up and actually going into the forums and looking at the exploits. They've got people that are finding these exploits for free, basically. Like, so, like, if ZOS wasn't doing that, there would be...
Yeah, but I think that they're aware of it. I do. I think that they're aware of how easy all these things are, and,
not XP.
I just... I mean, it's hard for me. It's just... I can only speak to my experience of it, dealing with it, and that's really it. I got ideas, and I'm sure we all do, and it's just challenging, but
And
I think I just like to be, I'd like the community to receive a little bit of compassion, and I'd also like to see ZOS receive a little bit of compassion as well from the community. It goes back and forth, but I'd like to see the community work together
and
more.
definitely, like, I've obviously, as I'm taking this pretty seriously, but at the end of the day, my goal isn't to go and attack ZOS. That's not my goal at all. I don't want to be,
No. I understand that. It's just what you're really saying is you'd like to see the community stand up and then see some action get taken, because it's the community that ultimately is playing the game and controlling the they're voting with their dollar.
And like, I've kind of explained what set off the whole situation. There was a few things that just set this off for me, and one of them was, I talked about another one the other day, but the other one was I was dueling the other day, and I beat this guy, and he was calling me a cheater, and I'm like, it's the other side of the sword where, like, he may actually legitimately think I'm a cheater, like I thought that guy in IC was a cheater, like, it's just not good, really, like.
Well, that's the thing, and that's what I mean. And the thing is in that guy's mind, he's right. You're a cheater, and he's a legit player, and that's in his mind. And you're going to have that a lot. If you're playing against somebody
He's
that
causing
has
some kind of lag,
who considers themselves to be very skilled.
don't you think?
It's gamer ego,
for me,
I've
like,
had so
I
many
keep
people that come up to me and introduce
throwing
themselves as
down,
being one of the best
arrow
Nightblades in
barrage.
Vivek when I'm on an alt, because they don't know who I'm on.
Yeah.
They don't know that I've got a tune that's a Grand
Like,
Overlord. I've seen a
whatever
lot.
reason.
I'm not going to go around boasting that I'm a good or great player or anything like that. I'm just a player. I'm playing a game. I'm having some fun with it.
Like, I don't brag off either, because at the end of the day, we all talk ourselves up to an extent sometimes.
But if you come across somebody that's of skill, and they think themselves to be of a person of skill, then they get killed really quickly. Then they're going to turn around and
We do have to
consider
learn
you a
it.
cheater.
Really fuck 'em up.
Yeah. At the end of the day, everyone's got to remember there's always going to be someone better than them out there.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I win most of my duels these days, but there's always that guy that beats me here and there, like.
Well, it's one part skill, and then it's one part, what are you built for at that moment?
Yeah.
Are you built for 1VX? Are you built for XVX? Are you built for PvE? Are you built for something that you're not fighting? If you're wearing shield breaker but you're fighting somebody that doesn't use shields, I mean, shit. You're wasting a 5-piece bonus.
Yeah.
If you're I mean, shit, like, absolutely.
And if you rock up with shield breaker for a duel against a Sork, you're just a dirtbag. But anyway, all right. Well,
it's you're either a dirtbag or you're just being really smart and assuring yourself a win.
Yeah.
But I mean, either way you look at it, it's like all of us have that crux out there. There is no build in the game that isn't soft and squishy to something.
Yeah.
Somebody else out there, some other build, even from a player of lower skill, can kick your ass, and you just have to accept that, because that's how the game's designed.
Exactly,
and I'm
right.
okay with that,
And
so
yeah, well, basically, guys, if you've watched and got this far, and you haven't already watched my original cheating video, go check that out. I'll put a link in the description to that, and I'll also put a link to the forum post. ZOS did remove the video. They removed the whole post the first time, and then the second time the guy, because I was talking to the guy, he was nice enough not to actually delete the whole post, but he just took the link away. So I edited it and just put a link to my YouTube channel on there, so people can still go see the video.
I mean, like, for XP, they should be doing that.
I will be talking to other people too in the community. So look out for that over the next few days, week. So yeah, you got any final thoughts to say, Abah?
No, not really. I think I've said everything I can say. I just I'd really like to see the
Kinda.
community continue to do well. I'd like to know that the game that I've invested so much time and effort into is going to continue to get better, to grow, to develop,
So now we have to like hack this
and to become
location
something
for
that
this
I'm still going to
shit
want to be logging into
every
years
once
from
in a
now.
while.
That's what I'd like to think.
Exactly, and Zos has got, they've got a fucking rough diamond or whatever the saying goes. They've got big potential in this game, and I just hope that they do it and they use it, and things do develop into a great or better MMO. Because honestly, they do. They've got a great game here, and
Yeah, it's a great game. And the community enjoys it so much that we're willing to fight for it.
yeah.
And that's really what this is, right? So
Exactly, and to everyone out there, every bit helps. You might not think that your little tiny, comment or whatever won't do anything. You're wrong. Like, it's all, we all got to play our part basically, and if we don't, then nothing gets done and nothing ever happens. So I would like to thank you, Abba, for taking your time out of your day to do this. And basically that's it, guys. So once again, it was Johnny from JTK Gaming, and I'll catch you later.